Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective, where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. Today, the everything is the rest of A to Z of coping skills. So we are on N to Z today. And again, I got this from my friend Debbie Hill, and she shared it from elsasupport.co.uk. Good morning, Muddy. How are you this morning, near afternoon, late morning for you? So yeah, okay, let's just get started. Again, we're on N through Z. I'm gonna read through these and then we'll go back over them, okay? So N, name the emotion you are feeling. O, observe the mindfulness techniques. P, paint your feelings. Q, question your thoughts. R, run as fast as you can. That feels like it might kill somebody. S, separate yourself from the situation. T, thoughts. Are they negative or positive? U, use your safe space. Use your safe place. V, voice your concerns. W, write down your feelings. X, exhale, breathe out your feelings. Y, yell as hard as you can into a pillow. And Z, zone out and relax yourself. So Z's all over it. Yeah. So anyways, all right. I know I inhaled, I almost snorted. Oh my God, it's going to be one of those days. So happy Tuesday, Muddy. So, all right, let's get rolling. N, name the emotion you are feeling. So I use this app called Finch, F-I-N-C-H, just like the bird. And it's actually a burb. I would show you, but I'm using my phone to do this, so, I can't show you. But I named her, she's this cute little burb. They call them burbs, B-I-R-B as in boy. And you can go on little adventures, you collect these coins, you can buy things in the app with these coins that you collect, and you can take trips and, to like different countries and see all this stuff. And it was so funny because yesterday my burb discovered Outlander because she's in Scotland. I mean, she's been through London, of course. It's the first one I did 100% on. Rome, because what the hell. So my bird does more traveling than I do, but Slurpee. But the thing is, what I was going to say is there's a lot of different things. It's a self-care app. So there's a lot of different things within this app. And to get these little bonus, it's for either the gems that you can collect or to get her back sooner, because usually she'll be on an adventure for 6 hours. But if you send little messages to your friends, like, you just click on something like send them gratitude, a hug, whatever. And of course they send it back. Good morning, pleasant dreams, whatever that was, or sweet dreams, I think it says. But she comes back faster. So one of them is name your emotion. Now, when I did the name your emotion, it brought me through a lot of different things, and I never realized how important naming your emotion really can be. And I mean, it seems dumb, right, that we don't know this, but it's not dumb at all. A lot of times we kind of freeze ourselves in our own, just kind of in our own minds, and it just paralyzes us mentally sometimes because we don't always understand what emotion we're going through. So when you sit there and you try to name it, you might say, am I happy? Clearly not. Am I sad? Not quite. Am I angry? I'm not sure. Am I just, a little whatever today? If you have a dinged up mental health, am I just going through one of those days? Yeah, that might be it. So, you're sitting here and you're giving yourself the opportunity to not just name your emotion, but to give yourself the chance to work through it. And when we know what the emotion is, it can be a bit easier to move through. And I don't mean it's not going to take effort. What I mean is that you have already identified the problem. So now, if you have tools in place, you know how to move through it. Whether it's taking your time or just saying, okay, I know what the emotion is, I'm done. And I have had that. There have been times when I've named the emotion and it's kind of like it's taken me a few days to get through, or, a day to a few days. And there's other times when I've named the emotion, it's like, oh, that's it. Okay, well, that's done. And then I move on. It's like nothing. So it just depends. And I really attribute that to a lot of the healing work I've done. Now, remember, I am not a trained therapist. I am not a licensed counselor. I am just someone who's been through all this and who has had plenty of therapy. So, I mean, not daily, but, I've had my fair share amount of therapy, and I'm not ashamed of that. So, in fact, I have some subject matter that I'm going to start talking about. Tomorrow will be a trigger alert because it is Self-Care Wednesday, but my friend posted something on suicide. So, and I really wanted to go over it. It's a great meme, the what people see versus the reality and of sorts. And so, so if you struggle with that a little bit, just take care to decide if you want to watch or not. But, I think it is a good watch. And I think for people who do not have a dinged up mental health, who might know somebody who struggles with their mental health, I really, really advise you to tune in because there's a lot of misconceptions. So anyways, let's go to O, observe the mindfulness techniques. So there's different mindfulness techniques. Yesterday we talked about a few. There was meditation, there's yoga, there's Tai Chi, there's Qigong, there's walking. Walking is a form of meditation. Running is a form of meditation. Exercise for some people is a form of meditation. Meditation is really, I know a lot of people think you're supposed to sit on the ground and be cross-legged and, like you're a Buddhist monk. All right. Not necessarily the case. In my experience, although I am sure meditation has a very specific definition, to me, meditating is what gets me out of my head. And I think that's the whole point, is to get us out of your head. When you're doing yoga, there's all these, fancy moves that require concentration and focus. You don't want to go falling over, right? You don't want to be in tree pose and then, or just be in dog pose and then you just fall flat on your face. So, it takes a bit of concentration, but also the breathing techniques and the mindfulness. So the breathing, the inhale, exhale, we'll get to that because apparently that's another one down here. Those are huge. Those are huge things. Walking out maybe in your favorite place or whatever. If you're walking and you're still in your head, do the 5 things. What can you smell, taste, see, hear, and touch? And those are, so again, smell, taste, see, hear, and touch are the 5 things. Oh, hi, birdie. Oh, okay, I am sorry, but the sparrows never... Hello, pretty girl. Oh, maybe that's a boy. It's got red on the front. I don't know if it's got red on the front on purpose or what, but it literally just sang at me. So, hi. And maybe it wasn't at me, but it's going to be at me. To be honest with you, they're probably house hunting. And I got a great awning. Anyway, sorry. Okay, observe the mindfulness techniques. Anything that helps you get you out of your head that is safe and legal. Walking, exercising, yoga, mindfulness, breathing. Do it. For some people, going for a drive. Going for a drive always helps me clear my head. So, but just make sure you're in a good place, okay? Because there are other people on the road and you don't want to hurt them. So, paint your feelings. I admit, I have no artistic skills whatsoever. I've shared the story about art class in my senior year and how I got an A specifically for effort. Although my teacher said I wasn't that bad. He just says I don't have enough confidence in myself. But no, seriously, no. But I do like to color. Okay, I'm pretty decent at coloring. And I have been teaching myself. So, normally when we open a coloring book, that can be another mindfulness technique, by the way, journaling, coloring, painting. One of the things I'm teaching myself with the coloring is the same thing I teach myself when I just pretend like I know how to paint. I haven't done it in a long time. I did have acrylics and brushes and stuff, but I would just basically kind of just paint in a book and it would just be colors. But it helped because a lot of times it just felt how chaotic my brain was sometimes. But what I try to do now is in these coloring books, we always feel like we have to use the specific colors. Like if there's a plant, right? I try to step out of the comfort zone now. Instead of making a leaf greens, maybe I'll make it like turquoise. Instead of making a flower, red, I might make it blue. So, it's about really kind of just teaching yourself how to step out of your comfort zone. But you can paint your feelings, maybe you have a sketchbook or even a journal. You can use colored pencils or pens. It doesn't necessarily have to be paint, but we all sit here and say, well, I don't have the talent to paint, but we go to the museum and sometimes we'll see things and go, I could have done that. And we probably could have, but here's the difference. That person had enough confidence in themselves because maybe they were painting their feelings. Maybe they were just kind of expressing whatever it is. So what might look like a bunch of brush strokes to us might be, hey, this is just the spectrum of my feelings one day. So don't judge it. If you like to paint or you like to color or you like to draw and you're like me and you don't have a lot of talent in it, don't worry about it. Don't judge it. Just let it go. Just allow yourself to be free. If you like to do little grids and stuff and color them in, just do it. It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, Jackson Pollock, right? I mean, you go to a construction site and you see all the paint splattered all over the place. Put a couple more colors in it, Jackson Pollock. But yes, thank you, Sammy. That's a perfect example. And look, he's famous, right? He's famous. Vincent van Gogh, right? I mean, okay, that's probably not the best example because he was a general, but I mean, he was a good art. He's one of our classic artists, but nobody liked his stuff until after he died. And it was really his brother and sister-in-law, and a lot of it was his sister-in-law that helped put him on the map, that helped, she wanted people to see what he drew. And people are like, whoa, you know what? We never really gave Vincent the time of day because we thought he had a lot going on in here, which he did. And, but wow. But I mean, all the sunflowers that he used to paint. I mean, this is a man who was truly looking to find something beautiful in life and just struggled to find it. So he drew it. He drew it. He expressed, he painted his feelings. He was looking for peace. I mean, this is just me, I don't know, brainstorming on what he might have been thinking. But, either way, whatever was going on through Mr. Van Gogh's head, he had some beautiful, beautiful artwork. In fact, it's funny because I've always been a fan of Monet, and that's just because in high school, that's when I discovered Monet, and then I got to see water lilies in person, and I literally was in tears. But when I went to London, a friend suggested I go to this one gallery near Covent Garden. I went and I saw Vincent van Gogh's self-portrait with the ear, and I was just kind of like, then, okay, I'm not gonna lie, then then I saw an episode of Doctor Who where they actually visit Vincent van Gogh, or as the British say, Vincent van Gogh. And I was just like, and there was just something about that whole episode that just, I don't know, you just feel like suddenly this person is 3D, not just this 2D portrait, but the person that played him, I can't think of his name, Tony Curran, I think. Absolutely wonderful job. I know it's Doctor Who, but I'm a nerd, all right? I am a straight up geeky nerd, and I don't care who knows it. But yeah, but that is probably not my favorite Doctor. I love them all. I love all the Doctors, but definitely my favorite episode of Doctor Who. But good morning, bestie. How are you? So anyways, paint your feelings, okay? Q, question your thoughts. So this kind of goes back to name your emotion, right? But question your thoughts. This is a tough one for a lot of people because if you have a dinged up mental health, and even if you do not, there are going to be times when your brain is going to be filled with all kinds of junk, like, oh my God, is this real? Am I dealing with this? What is happening? Are my spidey instincts kicking in? See, even Sammy said best Doctor Who ever. It was. You know what? I can't remember what season it was. Season bazillion, all right? Because there's so many Doctor Who's. And spoiler alert about Doctor Who, I need to catch up, but I just saw that the 14th Doctor is, oh no, the 15th Doctor is leaving. So, oh, I know, that was my spoiler. I was like, oh, I haven't even caught up yet. I've been so busy. So it's just like, just taking care of my dad. But it's kind of like, oh, I was sad. That was some high energy with that Doctor. But anyways, I digress. I could do a whole show on just being a nerd. So anyways, question your thoughts. I know a lot of people who really struggle with their brain lying to them. And a lot of times their brain lying to them can be, see, oh, Bestie, you watch Doctor Who? How did I not know this? How do I not know this? Anyway, but yeah, so shout out to Shurigawa because he was awesome as Doctor Who. But anyways, I know some people, and I have been in this situation where everything becomes so stressful that you start believing the lies in your head. And by that I mean it's almost like your brain revolts, and every trauma you've ever had. I live with a bigger science fiction nerd than you. That feels like a challenge. That feels like a challenge. Do you not know who I was raised by? Bigger science fiction nerd than me. Please. I'm the one who goes to Comic-Con every year. So there. But quite possibly. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not really I'm just a nerd in general. Not so much a science fiction nerd, but just a geeky nerd in general. I love all the nerdy stuff. So anyways, but yeah, I guess Doctor Who is kind of science fiction-y, isn't it? I don't know. I just always thought of it as nerd pop culture. But I am working my way through the originals now, which they're cheesy, but I really do love the Fourth Doctor. I mean, I have the scarf and everything. Not long enough, and I have a story on that. So since you know me, I move in every direction when we have shows. Question your thoughts. We'll hold that thought for a second. The Fourth Doctor, for those who don't know, you might be wondering why his scarf is so terrifically long. Well, they gave it a couple of of yarn. This is the story I heard, okay? They gave a bunch of yarn to this one person to knit a scarf to, because every doctor has their own style, right? And this person used all the yarn. So the scarf was over 6 feet long. And it was kind of like, but Tom Baker absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. And he's like, no, he's all kind of adds to the quirkiness of the Fourth Doctor. So, and also my friend Rupert, when he was growing up, he grew up around the same area, and he actually got to meet Tom Baker a few times. So that is my 6 degrees of separation to the Fourth Doctor. 1 degree. So anyways, yeah, so that's my little your side tidbit for the day. But question your thoughts, okay? If there's some deep, dark stuff going on in there, you have to ask yourself, is this my trauma? Or is this something that's been going on? Do I have any facts to prove and back up these thoughts that are rolling around in my head? Or are they just thoughts that are, trying to tear me down? I can go in a whole different direction with sometimes my theories on some of these things, but we'll stick with the mental health for right now, because, these nasty thoughts can poke at us. It can just make us feel like we are worthless, like we are not worthy of, breathing, of being on this planet, of being a part of this world. And sometimes these thoughts succeed and take us out. But if we learn how to stop and question them, if we start to learn how to do these, coping skills from A to Z, and I will post in the Facebook comments today, I'm going to post the full thing so that you have it. So if you're watching somewhere else, you can find it on Facebook. And I'll also post it to Instagram, because I know some people do not have Facebook. But and it'll be under Goalie Fan 1973, or I think that's what it is. Either that or Shelley Marie Lucas. All right, it'll be under Shelley Marie Lucas. So you can find it there under me, because I think it's really important for people to see that. And also, yeah, I'll also post it to Chabelle's Quest on Twitter. So you have 3 places you can find it, okay? They're great to have. It's good to know. And it reminds us to kind of step back into us and not, kind of, sometimes we do have to step outside of, our brain and look in to say, hey, what's happening in here? What's going on? Why are these thoughts just suddenly coming at me? I get these thoughts a lot, and I've gotten a lot better at fighting them off, and I've gotten a lot better at distinguishing reality from just my brain rebelling. So, that's when you really need a hug. I still need a hug. So anyways, run as fast as you can. Again, I said this earlier when I read these through. I feel like that might just kill somebody. So, but it's also good. If you can't run, because, there are people in this world that do not have that capability, just go as fast as you can. Just or listen to something, okay? Whatever it is that can just kind of move you out of your brain and back into your soul and into your heart. So I'm not going to spend too much time on run as fast as you can, because I'm not sure that is the best advice. I mean, it probably can be for a lot of people, but I think what it is that, you run as fast as you can, you're tired, you're breathing, you're wanting to just, get your heartbeat back under control. And I think that helps. Yeah, Sammy says, no running in Atlanta today. Girl, you step outside and walk fast and you'll melt. So no running. We don't want a melty Sammy on the sidewalk. So S, separate yourself from the situation. So this kind of goes with question your thoughts, right? Separate yourself from the situation. This can be a lot of things. Okay, this can be a lot of things. So to separate yourself from a situation might mean, if you're in the middle of something that you're not sure you should be in the middle of, step outside and take a look in. I admit a lot of people sometimes will come to me and ask me for advice, and apparently they think I give good advice, but what I do is I step outside the situation and I try to see both sides. And when you try to see both sides, you get a little bit more clarity, and you're able to give them a little bit more clarity. And, and because a lot of times they're so in the thick of it and in the middle of it that they can't remove themselves from it. And that can be hard. And I get that, especially if maybe you're having an argument with a loved one, or maybe you're, just had a bad day at work. Sorry, my tummy's growling. I don't know if the mic is picking that up, but, there's a lot of different things that could be going on. And when we separate ourselves from the situation, this can actually help us cope with it better, because we're going to look at it from the outside in. Okay, you're able to dissect it a little bit better than if you're standing in the thick of it. All right. So T, thoughts. Are they negative or positive? Again, this feels like it goes with question your thoughts and separate yourself from the situation. So we're going to jump back to Q. Question your thoughts. Are your thoughts a negative or a positive? I'm starting to feel like the person that wrote this just kind of got a little bored at the end. Because some of them feel like they're repeating themselves. But hey, you know what? Maybe that's it. It's about kind of repeating yourself and reminding yourself these are the techniques that do work. So again, are your thoughts negative or positive? If they are negative, ask yourself why. Try to step out of the situation and question your thoughts. Why am I having these negative thoughts? Why am I feeling like I am, outside of my body right now, just spinning in 5,000 directions, spinning out hard? So, yeah. So, so again, what are your thoughts? Are they negative or positive? You, as in you, use your safe place. I keep wanting to say safe space, but use your safe place. So yesterday we had, find a safe place, go find F, and go to your happy place, G. And today it says use your safe place. So, again, this feels like it's repeating itself, but I get it. I mean, what do you come up with for you, right? Or you could use your mindfulness techniques, use your spidey instincts, use, I don't know. Random thoughts are just rolling through my head right now. But yeah, use your safe place. So if you feel like you're uncomfortable, you feel like, if you feel unsafe, or you feel like, your brain is about to revolt, remember, find that safe place that you have. Not your happy place, okay? Your safe place. I mentioned yesterday when I was at work, sometimes if I just needed to take a break, I had three places if I, but two immediate places that didn't require me to leave the building. And one of them was around two corners across the hall, and one of them was the large bathroom stall. So there you go. There you go. Sammy put it perfectly. Use all your tools. If you're going to go on a mental health journey to try to figure your brain out or to try to heal it, or if you were going on a journey to heal yourself or your trauma, you need a good set of tools. These are tools that, observe your mindfulness techniques, question your thoughts. Are they negative or positive? Name your emotions or your feelings. These are tools that will help you move through whatever it is that you are going through. And like I said, it may not happen like that. There we go. It may not happen like that, but if you stick to it and you keep at it, you are going to move through it probably faster than if you just let it sit there and fester until you spiral and then you're clawing your way out. So yes, perfect, Sammy. Use all your tools. V, voice your concerns. Maybe you have concerns. Now, I shared my concerns, and that did not go over well for me. So be careful. Okay, I'm just going to say that. But if you are in a regular situation that is outside of work and you voice your concerns. Do you have concerns about somebody? Do you have concerns about yourself? Are you concerned that you might hurt yourself? Are you concerned that you are not well? Are you concerned that this is something new that you're not sure that you're going through? My friend sent me this video yesterday, and it was hilarious. It's this little kid on a zip line, and they are going through every emotion across the board. But somebody got clever and turned it into, this is what a healing journey feels like. And, there were 7 things. And, and like I said, this kid will be like, yeah, this is great. And then 2 seconds later, they're screaming their head off again, just out of their mind, freaking out. And that's kind of what a healing journey is. So the more tools you have, the better off you're going to be. And the more you voice your concerns, whether it's to somebody like a therapist, a professional, or someone you trust that's not going to judge what you're telling them, or even your journal. Just be sure to voice your concerns with yourself. Am I at risk of hurting myself? Am I at risk of hurting someone else? And remember what K was. Kind hands. Keep them to yourself. Okay? That's a number 1 rule. Keep your hands to yourself. So voice your concerns. W, write down your feelings. Journals. I got journals coming out of my ears here, but journals. I know I'm almost done with this one, so I'm excited because I have I have 2 journals waiting in the wings, and I get to pick from them. But sorry, I get distracted. I have to tell you, yesterday, I'm sidetracking again. Yesterday I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I followed Malala. And if you don't know who she is a beautiful, wonderful advocate for women and being educated. And she was able to, I don't know if escape is the right word, but I would say escape to London and kind of be able to do her work from there. But, she was actually shot and everybody thought she was going to die. And her story is incredible. So if you don't know her, then, find her. But the reason I'm talking about her is she collects pens. I felt so seen. Okay. She collects pens from everywhere, hotels, places she goes, people that have given her pens. And I'm just like, that's my people right there. That is my people. So But write down your feelings. Yeah, write down your feelings. This is a book of everything. I have a movie ticket from when I went to see Lilo and Stitch. I have my friend's father's little program from when he passed last month. My visitor's thing from my dad's hospital visit. My stamps. This is the year of the snake. But I also have things that say, give yourself permission to stop punishing myself. Give yourself permission to stop punishing myself. And, there's a lot of things that roll through our head. I have a note here from somebody who sent me something while they were purging. Here's another one. Embrace all of who you are. Your soul is yearning for this and needs it. Just do it. And so there's a lot of different things. Or trust what you believe in. And I have to make these notes for myself. Everybody's different. I doodle in here sometimes. I have little Kuromi. I love Kuromi. I love Hello Kitty, but Kuromi's my favorite. She's so dark. I have a card that Bestie sent me when he sent me some pens. I think journals are very good, especially if you have a dinged up mental health. I know it's not for everybody. I naturally love to write, usually stories, but in my journal as well. But I think it's a good thing to have, especially if you're going through a lot, whether you have a dinged up mental health or not. Journals are good because you can get stuff out of you. And that was the whole point of me starting to journal years and years ago, was to get stuff up and out of me, to get it, far away from my brain as possible. And a lot of times I'll just write or doodle and then my brain will kind of unlock. Sometimes I'll just color and my brain will unlock and go, aha, there's the aha moment. I'll pick up my journal, and I always have my journal near me. If I'm out and about, generally not. But if I know I'm going to be stopping somewhere that I have a few minutes, I will generally bring my journal with me. So it's not a bad thing to have. Writing down your feelings can be an excellent way to observe your thoughts, to figure out if they're negative or positive. I write a lot of things in there. I don't generally go back through my journals, but there's things I write in there just as kind of a reminder to myself. And, as a person with a dinged up mental health, sometimes I need these reminders, because sometimes it's hard for me to separate the negativity from the positivity, even as well as I'm doing now. So, this is, having a dinged up mental health is not for the faint of heart. But when you learn these techniques and you learn these tools, most people don't realize it. Like, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know anything was wrong with her. Or, oh my gosh, I didn't know that you struggled with this. I remember one day I was leaving from work and someone's all, they're all, oh, where are you going? And, I'm like, oh, I'm going to therapy. I didn't really care, but I didn't think about it either. Right. But the first thing I said, oh, what did you hurt? They're all, what are you working on? And I'm all, my brain. They just kind of looked at me. And then that following Monday, it was kind of like, I didn't know you were in therapy. I didn't know there was anything wrong. And it's like, you do your best to do the fake it till you make it, because you're not allowed to bring this shit to work. So, and that's probably a good thing. But so many thoughts on that one. But yeah, so write your feelings, okay? It's like painting your feelings, okay? And I know that, like I said, you don't have to be a painter, you don't have to be a writer. You can just be that person that just needs to get this stuff out of you. And who knows, right? I mean, I wonder how many artists out there have started just because they painted their feelings and someone said, oh my gosh, I see this in this. So see, you never know. All right. So X, I love this. Exhale. That is not how you spell exhale, but I get where they're coming from. I don't know, xylophone therapy, X-Files, X Factor, I don't know, whatever it is. Is that a show, X Factor? I know, I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but That feels like it's so familiar to me for some reason. Exhale, breathe out your feelings. So this goes back to the breathing techniques, right? Breathe deeply and slowly. This goes all the way back to B. Breathe deeply and slowly. So exhale. Now, sometimes sibling will tell me to exhale, and she's all, I didn't say huff, I said exhale, because I'll be like, like a little kid. Funny story. I know I'm full of them today. I had a kitty, my very, very first kitty, Riley Jane. And I picked up Riley one time, and I don't think she wanted to be picked up, but she huffed right in my face. Like, and even sibling was like, did she just huff at you? And I'm like, this damn cat just huffed at me. And older sibling just says, well, you know she gets that from you. And it's like, seriously, these cats are way too smart at mimicking people. So, because I huff a lot. It's like, you know, I haven't quite grasped the inhale, exhale thing yet. Why? Yell as loud as you can into a pillow. I did this the other night, and boy, was it therapeutic. Or you can go underwater if you have a pool and just yell the hell out of your brains. All right. No one's going to hear you underwater. I don't know, unless it's like the cartoons where the bubbles come up and they just yell for you. But yeah, yell as loud as you can into a pillow. Yell into it. Well, I know they say into a pillow because you don't want to freak everybody else out in the house, right? I mean, the pillows are going to muffle it, and well, I watch way too much true crime. This is just not sitting well with me, but I get it, okay? But yeah, you just yell into a pillow until you feel better. Cry, whatever you need to do, you know. And like I said, even if you live alone, just be careful. Because if someone walking by hears you screaming, they might think something's wrong, which is great because that means people are being observant and caring about their neighbors. But you also don't want to panic them and freak them out. Okay. So Z, zone out and relax yourself. I like that one. Zone out and relax yourself. I'm not sure what else I can say on that one. Just zone out and relax yourself. Exhale, not huff. Just, you know. And sometimes too, when you zone out and relax yourself, you might find a way to name those emotions. All right. So anyways, that's it. That's that. A through or N to Z. That was N to Z. So I'm just going to read all of them for you. A, ask for help. B, breathe deeply and slowly. C, count forwards or backwards. D, drink some cold water. Again, yesterday, was that like all about the brain freeze or something? E, exercise, run, jump, skip, kick a ball, throw a ball, run, walk fast, whatever you want to do. F, swim, that would have been a good one. F, find a safe place. G, go to your happy place. H, and remember, for anyone that didn't see yesterday, a happy place doesn't necessarily have to be like a mountaintop or the beach or whatever. It can literally be in your head. And by that I mean, you know, just visualize your favorite place in the whole world, you know, and just imagine yourself there and just go to your happy place. Okay. H, hug a friend or a family member. I, ignore people who are annoying you. That just feels accurate, right? That just feels like a no-brainer. J, jokes to help you laugh. K, kind hands, keep them to yourself. L, listen to calming music, or in my case, hard music. M, meditate, use yoga or mindfulness, qigong, tai chi, all those things. N, name the emotions you are feeling. O, observe the mindfulness techniques. P, paint your feelings. Q, question your thoughts. R, run as fast as you can. Still not sure that's the greatest idea, but okay. If it works for you, that's great. S, separate yourself from the situation. T, thoughts, are they negative or positive? U, use your safe place. V, voice your concerns. W, write down your feelings. X, exhale, breathe out your feelings. Y, yell as loud as you can into a pillow. And Z, zone out and relax yourself. And U, also use your safe place. Use your tools, as Sammy said. Use your tools. So there's two things you can use. Use your tools, use your safe place. And no, I'm not judging about the exhale. I totally get that. I mean, what starts with X besides names and instruments? So I don't know, maybe in another language. I'm not really sure. But anyways, So yeah, there you have it. Again, this is from elsasupport.co.uk, and my friend, I want to thank Debbie again for sharing this to the group that we belong to, and I really appreciate that, because this really hit home for me, because I realize I have a lot of these techniques, and I'm a little excited about the fact that my tool bag of mental health is growing. So remember, if you were going on a healing journey, if you were going to do any type of shadow work, consider professional help. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying it might be a good idea, because healing journeys and shadow work can get emotionally gruesome. But in the end, and you look back, it's like, wow, Oh, thank you, Sammy. Aw, thank you, Sammy. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a great list. It really was a great list. You have 26 tools you can pick from. You can either use all of them, or you can use some of them, but pick the tools in there, okay? So again, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you back here tomorrow. Heavy subject matter tomorrow. So, pull on your tough boots, because we're going to dive deep tomorrow. But yeah, I'll be back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public. Anybody can watch under Shelly Marie Lucas, or you can find me on YouTube, Blue Sky Threads, Instagram, Twitter, all those things. All right. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Sammy, thank you for coming on. Troy, I think Bestie had to go, but yeah. So anyways, thank you for popping on. I appreciate it. And yeah, have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you for watching.